On this episode of Carnage, the Lexcen is going on the dyno. So this is it, the moment everyone has been waiting for. The Lexcen actually runs and drives. That's right, it moves under its own power. Last time you saw this, it didn't run very well. But now, it runs just fine. But it is totally untuned, right? There has been no tuning done to this so far. I've just been sort of going through, hooking up things over the last week or so, make sure it's got boost control, make sure it's got water running the turbo, make sure the power steering's hooked up. So we've got a little power steering reservoir. I've made a custom bracket for that. I've got a battery shut off up here on a nice custom bracket for that as well. So I have been busy doing things, making this run. We've got an RTS shifter in there as well, so for the full manual. I haven't hooked up the trans brake yet, so there's still a couple little things that need to be hooked up, but I just want to see if this thing's going to do its thing on the dyno. So we're down here at max performance today, and hopefully Zane can find some horsepower out of it. I don't think we're going to shoot for the moon today. I think if we get a nice solid figure out of it, I'd be very happy, and we can go to Summer Nats with that. That is the plan. Go to Summer Nats, have some fun with some decent horsepower. So let's run it up on the dyno and see what we've got. So for those of you just joining us and you don't know what the hell we're doing, this is a 1UZ FE 4-litre quad cam Toyota V8. It's in a Toyota Lexcen Wagon. They never came out in these. Toyota Lexcen Wagons only came in Holden V6 configuration. We've gone with the quad cam V8 and then put a nice little Pulsar turbo on there as well. So the turbo is, it's capable of about 1150 horsepower, 1150 horsepower, that turbo. It's a G40 type spec. And then obviously we've got the 4-litre here. We haven't gone to town on it. We've given it rings and bearings. We put camshafts in it. It's got Kelford turbo cams in it, so it has got a bit of a cammy note to it. Proflow throttle body. We were going to go a fancy intake on it, but it worked out that the big intake wasn't going to fit under the bonnet, so we went with a standard intake, Proflow cable throttle body. Yeah, that's it. Nothing too fancy, but I'm hoping for somewhere. How about today we just say north of 400 rear wheel horsepower, but ultimately I'd like to see mid 500s. But anything north of 400 rear wheel horsepower today, I'll be stoked. But yeah, we'll see how we go. Remember, this thing has had zero tuning, so Zane is going to have to start from scratch. So it's going to take a little bit longer than, say, normal dyno operation. But yeah, kind of keen to see what comes out of it though. So we're just getting some stuff started. Not even 11 pounds, and you know, 250 rear wheel. Obviously we want to see a lot more, but we are starting to see some engine temp, and the radiator might not be up to it. The dual pass thing, maybe that's not working, maybe the radiator's just not big enough, but it's getting warm. Not bad. So on that last run, Zane put a bit more boost into it, sent it a bit harder, but it didn't really make any more power. So now we're wondering if it's a cam timing issue or whether we got the timing angle right. Anyway, he's going to try something. Yeah, maybe it was a timing issue, maybe a Scotty timing issue, but that's a bit better. So what we're going to do now is check the timing mark, because Zane made an adjustment in the computer and the engine came alive. So what we're going to do is check the timing mark, but to do that I have to pull the fan shroud out because, yeah, I can't see the timing mark. You're kidding. The top hose stopping the shroud coming out. One of the boys suggested we drill a hole in the shroud. Maybe we have to do that. All right, trusty hole saw from Hare and Forbes. About there. Well, I reckon that's about right. It's going retarded more. All right, it's approaching 0. So, we've found the problem. It is my problem. I had the offset angle 10 degrees out. I thought I had it right. Turns out I didn't. So when we had on the, Zane's putting 17 degrees of timing into it, thinking that's where it is, but it's actually 7, so it's not making any power. So when he's changed the timing angle by 10 degrees, all of a sudden we're making power. So now we've got it set right. Now we can make some power. That's what we want. Holy crap! What's that, like 16 pounds of boost? Holy crap! That's a photo moment. Okay, I think we're done here. Wow, okay, yeah, that's pretty good. Oh wow, that's not bad for 4 litres, pretty good. Scotty happy now. We're going one more. So close, almost 600, but I think we're going to call it there. Yeah, we're going to call it there. It needs plug gaps, and I don't want to wait 2 hours for the thing to cool down, so let's call it there.
A few moments later.
Okay, so I was going to leave it there, but we are starting to run into some spark breakdown because we think the plug gaps are too big. I was going to just like change the plug gaps later because it's very hot, but the boys have convinced me to change the gaps. Let's gap it down, send it again, C600 rear wheel horsepower, and all 500 kilowatts. Zane's saying, yeah, it's going to be a party. Right, so we have done the plug gaps, gapped them down to 0.5 mil, and yeah, now we're going to go for, well, I'm saying 600 rear wheel horsepower. Zane's saying 500 rear wheel kilowatt, which is a lot more than 600 rear wheel horsepower. But anyway, we're here. We said we weren't going to send it, but here we are sending it. So let's send it. Baby! Whoa! All right, that's it. We're done. That's it. Okay, so let's call that done. When we started tonight, we said we weren't going to send it. We said we were going to get happy with just over 400 horsepower at the tyres. And maybe go to 500-600 at a later date. Well, here we are, a couple hours later, 624 horsepower at the tyres, thank you. Stock rods, yeah, stock pistons, stock crank. Yes, we've done the ring gaps. Yes, we've done some bearings in it. We've got cams in it. But apart from my little stuff up earlier with the timing offset, yeah, this thing is making some serious power in a station wagon. This thing is going to be a hell of a sleeper. So right now I'm debating, you know, do we take it to summer nats or not? It makes heaps of power. It does run kind of hot. Summer nats gets kind of hot. Look, I don't know what we're going to do, but I'll have a think about it. We'll work out what we're going to do. Summer nats is coming up. We might be there, we might not. But whatever happens, you'll see on a future episode of Carnage. So that wraps us up for 2023. It has been a big year here on Carnage. You know, we've done some pretty big things. You know, we've run mid-9s with the trial bow, low 8s with the Mazda 822 at 175 mile an hour. That was pretty ludicrous. And big wheel stands from both cars. But of course, we can't do any of this without our sponsors, and we'd love to thank them for their support in 2023. Hare and Forbes Machinery House and VPW. Without them, none of this happens, so make sure you support those who support us. So I figure we've dynoed the car. Let's show you what it sounds like out on the street. Let's go for a drive. It sounds awesome.